welcome to another edition of Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now, our topic today is how to enhance natural light photos. And the photo I chose to use this with is a photo I took at the zoo. So here's the original image, and here's the image after we applied a few edits to it. Now, the reason why I chose the zoo is it's a great place to take new students to learn about photography. There's so many things you can photograph. Now, for this particular image, the bird's name is Sophia. And imagine walking on this beautiful wooden deck all the way around, and you're under a treetop canopy, and here's her cage, and there she is under the canopy in daylight. Well, one of the hard parts is she's in a cage. So if you notice, you don't see the cage in front of her. It looks like I was inside the cage with her. And that was because I shot with a 22mm lens, or I'm sorry, a 200mm lens. And by shooting with a 200mm lens, I was able to zoom in so close on her that it blurred out the cage in front of her. So that's how we got the shot. And now I'm going to show you how we can edit this image using the tools with Luminar for natural light photos. Now, before we begin, let's take a moment and thank our partner, Fujifilm. Fuji reminds us to stay safe, stay creative, and stay at home. And we're back. Guys, welcome. I'm glad to see people from Spain, Japan, hello from, of course, Florida. So, guys, and of course, our good friends, Canada, the Great White North. Now, if you like this topic, please hit the thumbs up. And don't forget, today is Wednesday. So at the end of this at 5:30, we're going to have an open discussion where you can log in with Zoom and ask us any question live, and we'll be able to answer that pertaining to photography and editing. All the information is in the description below. All right? Well, let's get started. So here we are. Let me invoke the highlighter. All right, let's go back down to the history tool down here, and I'm going to start with the original image. But before I do that, let me just show you some of the tools that we'll be working with. And the essential tools, we're going to use almost all of them: light, AI enhancer, color, the detail, the noise, and then, of course, this one is my little secret trick, the landscape enhancer. We're going to use dehaze. And then for the Pro Tools, to get the eye looking the way it is, look at this, we'll selectively lighten just her eye, and then, of course, the advanced contrast. All right, so now that we know the tools we're going to be using, let's just let's recreate it from scratch. All right, I like to start with the AI enhancer. That automatically does most of the job for me. And then for light, well, from here, we have a couple options we can do. Since it was shot with a raw file, I could change my color profile here, or my camera profile. And then let's bring out some of the shadows. But in doing that, notice the blacks look dull. So let's enrich the black. Ooh, nice. And enhance the whites a little. We'll tone down some of the highlights. Good. All right, so before and after, already it's looking good. Now let's come down to color, and let's see if there's any color cast. There's a little bit. So let's use it a little. I'm going to desaturate the colors just a touch because I want to bring out the vibrancy. So the muted colors is what I'm looking for. So saturation will cover all of the colors. Vibrancy will deal just with the muted of those colors. That looks good. And for detail enhancement, let's make it look a little sharper with the medium. Now, in doing this, let's see, this was shot at 200 ISO with an older camera. What year was this? 2011. Wow. All right, so let's look at the noise. I'm going to zoom in really tight. Let it refresh. And yep, can you notice? Look at the digital noise in the image, especially on the beak right in here. I'll zoom in a little bit tighter. All right, so there's definitely digital noise. So we're going to denoise, and the luminosity is going to take care of all the, like the gray type noise, the noise that have the gray tones in it. Now the color, sometimes you'll get noise. You'll see like a checker pattern of different colors. Typically, I think yellow and blues. That's where that's going to affect. So we have that set. And for boosting, I can increase the intensity of it. Good. So let's look at the difference before and then after. Ooh, look at that. Look how it just smoothed it out. All right, so we have that set. Now, this is that one little tool, the dehaze. It's under the landscape enhancer. Watch this. When we start to invoke it, let's bring it out. Oh, look what it's doing. It's actually adding more contrast to the image, and it's making the colors pop a little bit more. That's typically used like in an overcast day, and there's a lot of haze in the scene. Well, this is helping. That'll definitely help with that, but it also helps with underexposed images like this, towards adding more of the contrast. Good, so look at that. Already, before and after, we already brought new life to this image. And then let's come down to the Pro Tools. And for the advanced contrast, now we're going to attack the individual highlights, midtones, and shadows. So we can come in. Ooh, look at that. The midtones. Ooh, I like what it's doing to the background. And now let's bump up those shadows a little bit. And bring them out a little more. All right. Good. So the only thing that's missing is that eye. I want to get her eye looking just a little lighter. So if I click on Start Painting, I'm going to use the light, which is the dodge and burn. I'm going to use the dodging or the lightening of the effect. Let's start it at, well, let's start at 100%. And I'm just going to go right around her eye here. There it is. I'm going to turn it on and off. Look at that. Much better. Now that I have her eye looking the way I want it, let's come back up here to the contrast and let's adjust the shadows a little bit more. Look at that. So the shadows, right there, is definitely going to bring it out. And there we have it. All right. So before and after. Now I could take this one step further, which, you know what, while we're here, why don't we? I'm going to come back to the dodge and burn. This time I'm going to darken, but I don't want to do too much. I'm going to bring it down to maybe 12%. Using the left and right bracket keys, I'm going to increase my brush size. Now watch this. I'm just going to come in, and it doesn't look like I'm doing much, but watch what's going to happen. I'm just going to come back over some of the darker areas. That's it. So now, look at that. When I turn it on and off, look what it's doing. It's bringing that focus onto her. And done. Now, once I complete this, looks, let's save it as a new look. And I'm going to name it, which I shouldn't do this, Ugly Bird. All right, I think she's beautiful, but let's call her Ugly Bird. There it is. Now, the next time I have to really bring out a lot of detail into an image, all I have to do is click that ugly bird and it's done. So let's try this. Because that whole thing took me, so using the built-in looks that we have, AI Image Enhancer is always a great place to start. Now, if you're new and just let me know. With the new version of 4.3, it's the 3 update. You should have downloaded that already. Well, it should have automatically been for you. Windows is help, check for updates, and it'll tell you what the current version is here. The newest version was so cool about it. Once I hover over one of these looks, look how cool that is. It actually shows me what's happening. And here's that haze removal. That's how I learned that the haze removal will do a great job on this image. Look at this. So if you don't want to spend a lot of time, you can easily just go through some of these looks. That looks good up there, or the dramatic ones usually come off really good. Oh, look at the creative. Remarkables. Oh, I like Remarkable. This how's Blockbuster. Analog's a little too much, and then vintage is way too much. And you know what? While we're here, let me try one more. Let's see lifestyle. Dark Moon. And keep in mind, if you see something like, let's say, Dark Moon, it looks like it could be good, just dial it back a little bit. All right? Beautiful, beautiful sunset is another contender. I do like beautiful sunset. I think the only difference what I would do with this is maybe enrich the blacks a little bit. There we go. All right. And again, I just use the built-in looks that Luminar has to help with that. Or I can decide to take over and completely apply whatever tools I want. So, hey guys, thank you so much for watching this. Now remember, today is Wednesday, so let me pull this up for you. And being that it's Wednesday, let me pull it up. In the description of this lesson, let's see, library, Luminar Coffee Break. Let me pull it up for you here. Right here. So under our description of the class itself, pause it. There we go. Down here, if you want to join us for more, we have our Wednesdays happy hour. You're welcome to join us where Angela and I will talk, or we'll open up the discussion for anyone. You can ask us any questions you want pertaining to photography and, of course, Luminar, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys with it. All right? And especially if you're new to Luminar like Sean is new to Luminar, this will be a great opportunity for you to come on board and chat with us. And then if you have questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments or join the live chat, and then we'll come up with new lessons based on those responses from you. Well, guys, I'm Vanelli. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the next coffee break.